afternoon, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon to my fellow colleagues. Good afternoon to the Minister of TIAT and Prime Minister and support staff. Good afternoon to those listening and viewing online. Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Chairman, seemingly the PGIA team was on a media blitz this week, and a nice little presentation. But based on what the CEO stated yesterday in the article, let's talk about then now the long-awaited envy of the Caribbean neighbor, according to the CEO. That's what he said it's going to be soon. But Mr. Chairman, do you know what that means for us? Do you know how we the people feel right now about that reality ever becoming evident? Like a carrot stick dangling in front of us every time we keep getting closer to our goalpost, like the one signed in October 21st, 2021 with Ballas Needham. It continues pulling back. They continue taking that carrot and pulling it back and back and back every time we get closer. So, Mr. Chairman, my main focus today will be inquiries about, of course, the reconstruction process in and within itself, but most importantly, the management and the supervising of the reconstruction and the functionality of the airport. Where these questions may be, hopefully, Mr. Chairman, through you, these questions can help the COM get into the reality of what's really happening at the airport. I truly believe that herein lies the motives as to why we're here today, Mr. Chairman. Anyone ever heard of the Head and Shoulders commercial? You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Ever heard of that one? First impressions, Mr. Chairman, they matter. And although the average waiting time at the airport is 45 minutes to an hour and a half long, some airports like Miami International Airport, LAX, JFK, and Heathrow, to name a few, are notoriously known for even longer waiting lines. But I can stand here today, Mr. Chairman, and safely say, they could afford to do that. We can't, not St. Martin. We have a one-pillar economy, Mr. Chairman. And we have one opportunity and one chance to make the first impression. The customer journey is what makes the customer experience. And it starts and ends well. And if it starts and ends well, the customer is very likely to retain positive memories about it. The CEO again stated yesterday in the Daily Herald article, the only approach is tactical. All hands on deck. Bottled water, Wi-Fi, and can I help? I'm trying to say it the way the CEO would say it. Really, Mr. Chairman? Where's the empathy? Where are the numerous signages consistently apologizing for the inconvenience? Not those two measly signs we see there. Who knows how far some of our passengers have traveled and to be greeted with chaos? And they don't want to hear from a flight crew, which I've heard on numerous occasions, that sorry for the inconvenience. No, Mr. Chairman, they want to hear it from the airport with sincerity and empathy. An apology and some empathy will go a long way, Mr. Chairman. You know, Mr. Chairman, I'm a strong proponent, as many of you already know, of putting our people first and giving them an opportunity to grow. I remember when I was eager to become the marketing and sales manager at Smithcombs, and the then managing director, Mr. Curtis Haynes, said, Grisha, you can't take this position yet because you don't have your master's. Get your master's and you're in. I went away, got my master's, and his word was born, and he allowed me to grow, and I thank him to this day. But on the other hand, Mr. Chairman, I'm also a strong proponent of placing the right people, St. Martin people, in the right positions. Jack Welch, who was the CEO for GE for about 20 years, once said, when we get the right people in the right job, we won the game. Unfortunately, Mr. Chairman, we've been losing this game a lot recently, especially in the recent years. And it's situations like these, led by incompetence by some of our own, that has gotten us where we are today. This is why it is imperative that we give our own the right resources, the knowledge and training, and most importantly, the opportunity to help them grow, Mr. Chairman. So the next set of questions I'm about to pose surrounds the functioning of the company, which might be potentially tied to maybe the failures of the reconstruction. So here goes, Mr. Chairman. The airport has had 3 CFOs during the last 3 years. What's the status of the CFO counterpart? We keep asking this question over and over and over and over. I want a truthful answer. The managing board, as mentioned before, has hit its 3rd resignation of a Schiphol referred CFO under the leadership of the CEO. What is the reasons for the CFO's abrupt resignation? When will the resignation of the CFO be announced to the airport community? Correct me if I'm wrong, and I could be wrong. It has officially been sent to the COM and became public via the media. But the airport community, the workers, was never officially informed. Since the dismissal of the former COO, has there been any vacancies placed for this position? If yes, when exactly has it begun? And if not, why not? And while on the topic of vacancies, Mr. Chairman, why are the airport employees witnessing ads posting internationally before posting them internally and locally? Is there a reason for this, or specific ads only that goes internationally or before, or are not internally? And can we get a copy of PJIA recruitment policy? Mr. Chairman, I was made to understand that the existing HR director was a manager for months before becoming the HR director, and that vacancy was never posted internally. Is there any truth to this, Mr. Chairman, or was proper procedure followed? Has any training been issued by a Royal Schiphol Group to any of the employees thus far? If yes, please provide a list of these trainings and to whom and which department. If not, why not as yet? While on the topic of training, come January 7, 2023, the CEO of PGIA will be there for 4 years. My question to the minister is, through you, Mr. Chair, has he taken any form of aviation training? Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but there is seemingly a high influx of employees, mostly from the Netherlands, hired in top management positions. Are these positions temporary or are they permanent? Are there plans for changing the current organizational structure? If yes, will it be done with the existing employees having first right of refusal, first preference? Mr. Chairman, the Project Management Unit, PMU, is a department that supervises Ballast Needham on behalf of PJIA. What is the full makeup of PMU? What's the hierarchy, the structure? Does it include existing employees of the airport? If yes, who are they and which department do they represent, and who else externally forms part of this unit? Does the PMU consult with managers of PJIA? Do they keep them abreast of the developments? Or is this a case of them just working independently? Are there plans to add more persons in the PMU? If yes, what is it? Who are they? What is it? Does the airport employ a structural engineer in its project planning systems department, the PPS department? If yes, is this person part of the PMU? If so, what role does he or she play inside of the PMU? If not, why doesn't he or she participate in the PMU? Mr. Chairman, let's delve deeper into the overall financials of PGIA. I saw it was very brief and quick, so I may have to ask again, and maybe the minister will have to clarify it. When Schiphol, Royal Hassing-Konings, or Ballast Needham informed PGIAE of any cost overruns for the reconstruction of the terminal, what was the total cost indicated? Please explain, is there any clause in the reconstruction contract of PGIA that identifies PGIA from additional costs related to third-party disputes and delays? If a legal dispute develops between PGIAE and Ballast Needham, how will this affect the reconstruction of PGIA? In 2021, the COM in Parliament was informed that the terminal would be finished by, I think it was early or mid-2023. However, it is now revealed that the terminal will now be finished in 12 months, so 2024. What financial impact does this delay have overall on the business and the island's economy? And this goes directly for the Minister of TIAC. How much money has PGIAE borrowed overall to this point? In 2019, Vida Nova proposed an alternate financing option in the amount of $240 million to PGIAE, PGIAH, and at the time, the CEO and the then, I think it was the second one, not even short at this point, made an assertion that the sum of $240 million would put the company out of business. I'm not sure what I saw there, but are we currently not over 200 million? And if yes, what financial repercussions will the airport face if the project's used cost overruns continue? Is the company's financial situation taken into account once the project is finished? Should we be concerned with PGIAE's ability to continue operating after the project, especially in light of the fact that PGIAE is losing market share and that PGIAE would suffer financial losses as a result of an unfinished terminal? Most importantly, is PGIAE confident that the delivery of the departure hall and other locations will occur on schedule this time? Through you, Mr. Chair, my next set of questions are now tied to the reconstruction and Ballast Needham. I was made to understand, Mr. Chair, that the airline handlers were recently asked to vacate their interim offices and return to containers because Ballast Needham is in need of the space for construction. Now, after the interim phase, what was supposed to happen was after this interim phase, the final step was to move them to their permanent location, provided a finalization of phase one, which unfortunately didn't occur. So my question is, why move them back in containers and why not finish phase one? Why the back and forth? Last week, I arrived on St. Martin from the Netherlands to the sounds of jackhammering above the immigration section. I stood there for a few minutes, luckily for me. I don't have to stay too long. But I couldn't even hear myself think. Imagine the immigration workers, those working to welcome the guests, and the little that's left of the EAS employees that's still there. How in God's graceful name can they work in such chaos? My question, or rather suggestion, and I heard the minister mention it before, is, and it wasn't clear for me, why are they not considering the jackhammering at a less busier time? Like at night, he mentioned it's not working. I want him to explain to me why at night, why it cannot work at night. Is it a financial reason? What is the reason why we can't do it during our less time? This is peak of the season. Why are we not thinking on the experience of our people as they come in? We're not looking at it to only accommodate our guests, but what if a debris fall on the ceiling and hurt someone, a guest or one of the workers? What is PGIE's intention with dealing with that unpleasant experience at the airport terminal? It wasn't clear to me in that presentation. Other than the obvious natural disaster, what other potential setbacks can we expect from Ballast Needham that can potentially hamper the finalization of this reconstruction? Is there an exit clause in place in the agreement with the Ballast Needham? Has there been any request from Ballast Needham for additional funding other than that of I think it was 9 million, I'm not sure that's what he said, or are these tied to delays? Mr. Chairman, I was recently made to understand that Ballast Needham bought the wrong paint and realized it after the steel was already painted. Is there any truth to this? If it is true, how was the fire retardant paint, which was mentioned in the initial assessment of the building's damage, omitted from the tender? Is this listed as one of the reasons of the delays? I think you answered that in your presentation already. Who is being held responsible and liable for this mistake? Does COM, and I see you're still working towards that. Hopefully by next month, we'll know. Does the COM hold the management board and the supervisory board accountable for all errors and cost overruns that have been made so far in connection with the terminal renovations project? Mr. Chairman, I have a few more minutes. I would like to end my line of questioning for the most directly surrounding the figures and the stats of the airport, as well as the government's stance and vision for the airport. So allow me to pose through you, Mr. Chair, a few more questions. What are the projected and actual arrival numbers for this season between November 2022 to April 2023? So the projected passenger movement and the actuals so far. Did the airport increase the fees charged on the airline tickets from 2020 to now? How many times have the airport improvement fees been increased, and by how much? Has this been extended, and to when? Has the airport departure fee increased? When was the latest airport departure fee increase? Was the minister informed of these increases? Did the minister or the council of ministers sign off on these increases? Who is in charge of maintaining the relationship with the airline? Is it the airport? Is it the tourist? Is it the minister? Is it all of the above? And did the airport tourist office or minister pay any visit to the airlines to maintain relationship with St. Martin and to apologize for the dire situation they are forced to operate in? Mr. Chairman, I want to once again reiterate and bring home the importance of first impressions, Mr. Chairman, by encouraging airport management team to always bear in mind that they are in charge of the doorway to our country. And always bear in mind that if you don't leverage first impressions correctly, your customers might get the wrong idea in their head. And if they had a negative interaction with you or any person at our airport, that might be the only memory that actually stays with them long term. And we can't afford that, Mr. Chairman. So I'm urging the management team to consider optimizing customer service during the reconstruction, not only for our visitors, but also, Mr. Chairman, for the airport community. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.